path? That's my ad. Yeah, so we're doing some sponsored content through Algora. Technically, I've already fulfilled the obligation, but I like what they're doing, and I'm happy to, keep advertising for them. If you have any questions about these things, might be worth, discussing and then, chatting about. Like, I don't even know what Nango is. You can take a look at it. So I'm curious what the integrations part actually means, but okay. So this is like if you wanted to wire up to the APIs of a bunch of these providers, right? You might have to like configure an API key or something for those things, but you get like a nice unified API to query those things instead of building it ad hoc or using their SDKs. That's kind of interesting. Interesting. So, yeah, like at GitKraken, if we were to end up open sourcing our API, or not open sourcing, but like opening up a public API, we might want to create an integration for people using Nango to get GitKraken like data into their applications or whatever. That's actually really interesting. I'm definitely going to bring that back to the team. And they're hiring too. Hey, guys, check it out. Senior product engineer, remote. They're looking for East Coast time zone. So a bonus is proficiency in Node. All right, past experience in early stage and developer tool startups. I don't really like list the technology they use that much, so they may not be too worried about if you know React versus Angular or whatever. Yeah, seems cool. Wish they'd list the salary. But yeah, if you're over on the East Coast or close enough to it, right? Or could at least like work on an EST. They don't list the pay range. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be really nice. Especially when they're saying like, hey, we're looking for this time zone. But I believe because they're focusing on EST, that means they can ignore Colorado and I think California's laws around disclosing salary, like expectations. I'm not sure that's the reason they're doing it. It's most likely for like, collaboration. But I'd never actually thought about that before. Like, if you just say what time zone you're looking for and none of the states within that time zone have that law. Yeah, that's a big reason why a lot of companies have started listing their salaries, because it's required by law if you want to hire people from Colorado, or I believe California has it now too. I'm not 100% certain about California, but Colorado definitely has that law. Yeah, it'd be so much better, for sure. It should be nationwide, absolutely. But yeah, Nango, it seems kind of cool, like, yeah. Oh, they even, like, I love it when they tell you about how they hire and some of that stuff too. That's awesome. A paid 1-week trial, that is the absolute best way to understand if someone is like a good work, like, colleague. Now, there is a 2-hour technical interview. No coding exercise involved. Instead, you just delve into a comprehensive review of your areas of expertise, explore technical and architectural questions, and conclude the discussions about the product. This is really nice. Yeah, this is cool. And yeah, if they like you after a week, then they'll do some reference checks. Yeah, that's a really cool hiring process. Like, I am even more stoked on the idea. And yeah, it's an open source unified API, so we could look at what they got over on here. Like, how do they work? 28 issues, 11 active pull requests. It's a Saturday, so that's fine. Mostly TypeScript. MDX for their docs, sure. So when they say pre-configured APIs, if we look at their integrations, oh wow, okay. So let's check out linears. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the nice part about this is they're not like hammering those other APIs. They're just every 5 minutes maybe pulling the data in, and then you're querying their like cached data from those providers. That's kind of nice too. Because then you're only paying for Nango's pricing instead of like how some of these other ones could be really heavy. Yeah, oh man, that is nifty. And then if we look at how things sync, right, issues, this is the code to actually get that data. Exactly, X Factor, right? So it's basically like an aggregator or like a collection of SDKs for these other tools without having to install their SDK. And theoretically, this is lighter? I don't know. Not 100% certain on that. Right? I'd be curious how big their, SDK bundles are. Most likely, you'd only ever call this from the back end, though. But maybe not. I don't know. I'm curious how, like, front-end integration would work for it. Okay, so yeah, you would initiate the OAuth flow from the front end, but that would pass stuff to the back end, in which, like, yes, then they're doing the querying, and then you bubble that up, right? And yeah, you could theoretically self-host it. I wonder what self-hosting would look like, considering that it's pretty much all TypeScript. I'm curious what the Docker Compose is really for, right? The database, sure. Yeah, I wonder if this is like hostable within like a serverless stack in some way, if that even makes sense. No, this is cool. I like it. Yeah, what's their pricing like, I guess? That's the next big question. All right, it's free forever for the free tier there. 20 synced connections, and then you're probably billed for extra connections, right? If you end up wanting SOC 2 compliance and all that stuff, yep, that's the enterprise tier. Okay, so if you're using a connection, that's just when a user connects to it. But the two-way syncing is a synced connection. So if your connection only uses the OAuth and API proxy from Nango, it does not count as a synced connection, is free. It's a typo. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'd happily take money from you to do it different. And yeah, they're willing to like work with people. Cool. And right, if you're considering like an enterprise account, you can probably get them to write the integrations for you rather than having to do it yourself. That's kind of cool. Special conditions for early stage startups and want to ensure that money is never a reason not to use Nango. Yes, that's cool. And it's fully open source, so you could host it yourself too. Right? Again, that incurs the cost of running it, but for $250 a month or more, right? Especially if you want to do your own log retention stuff, self-hosting is actually a pretty big option. But you wouldn't get an SLA or SOC 2 compliance, priority support. What is their license for the self-hosted? The Elastic license. Okay, that's kind of a smaller license. May not provide the software to third parties as a hosted or managed service. Sure. Can't circumvent the license key functionality? Okay. Yeah, so I've never heard of this license before. Doesn't seem terrible, though. I've seen worse. So yeah, cool stuff.